Live from the Geico Outkick Studios. It's October. What does that mean? Well, it's Geico-ween, of course. Don't be spooked by high rates on car insurance. Geico is brewing up spellbinding savings that they're crafting just for you. See how much you could save. Get a quote today at geico.com. Well, what a heck of a start here. Hold on. I'm coughing like crazy. That's never happened before. Let me have water. Make sure that I'm still alive. Hold on 1 second. Pause. I'm going to blame the cats. This is what happens now when I have two cats in the house. All of a sudden, I can't breathe right as the show begins. So, a lot to get into here. We have got a bevy of different athletic events all underway. And I would say, first of all, the NBA's mercifully awful ratings will soon be over. LeBron James and the Lakers are probably going to close this thing out on Friday. We have never seen in 40 years of NBA Finals games less people care about the NBA than care right now. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it's gotten so bad that Adam Silver came out and said, yeah, we're not going to put any political messages on the court going forward. And we're also going to eliminate everything on the jerseys. All of that disappearing as the NBA has to come to grips with the fact that their fan base has completely exhausted their patience with the sport and just completely abandoned it. It's really unprecedented. They are seeing a collapse the likes of which we've never seen before in Game 3, and now in terms of the audience, they were down 70%. 70% fewer people watched the NBA Finals Game 3 than watched 2 years ago when LeBron James was playing against the Golden State Warriors. 60% fewer than watched with that awful, people said, oh, well, you know, there's a Canadian team in the series, so not very many people are going to watch. I've never seen anything like it. And so Adam Silver has come out. If you didn't see the news, it didn't get a lot of attention. Surprise, surprise. Just like the Rudy Gobert condemning China didn't get a lot of attention because you can't trust most people in the media. If you didn't miss it, I can see, you know, why you didn't know about it. But the social justice warrior trappings of the NBA are completely disappearing. So Adam Silver basically begging for forgiveness for tanking the entirety of the NBA. And I think Jason Whitlock had an interesting column at Outkick where he pointed out that LeBron James's biggest legacy is potentially going to be that he destroyed the NBA fan base. All the time that Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Michael Jordan spent to develop an NBA fan base, and LeBron James has pretty much completely destroyed it. I want you to think about this for a minute. Over 30 million people watched Michael Jordan's final game in the NBA Finals. 5 million people are watching LeBron James in the NBA Finals right now. Over 30 million for Michael Jordan, 5 million now watching LeBron James play. Think about how unbelievable of a collapse in audience that is. And so many people in my industry are unwilling to talk about it because it points to the NBA turning its back on its entire fan base. But owners like Mark Cuban are ignoring it. So many people out there are totally unable or unwilling to talk about the basic truth, and that is that the NBA is in trouble. And by the way, the NBA players are going to feel it too because their salaries are about to all go down by 50% for next season. So all these NBA players that are like gotten so woke and they're like, oh, look how many Instagram likes I'm getting by being woke, you're going to make 50% less money under your salary than you were anticipating making, maybe not even 50%. It's one of the most cataclysmic situations that I have ever seen an American pro sports league in that the NBA is finding itself in right now. So I hope you wokesters out there are enjoying the disaster that is the NBA's collapsing business. Most of you are not watching. It's why we haven't spent much time on the NBA. Major League Baseball is underway. 4 different series officially playing yesterday. The Atlanta Braves, 2020 is wild when the Atlanta Braves have now won 3 straight postseason games and are trending towards the NLCS, where it looks like they may end up playing the Dodgers. We got a couple of highlights of that for you out there. Here is the home run that put the Braves in control in the bottom of the 7th inning last night, or yesterday afternoon, I guess, more accurately than last night. Yesterday afternoon's home run by Travis d'Arnaud to give the Braves control of that game.
2-0. Swinging a high fly ball deep to center field. Retreating is Sierra at the wall. It's gone! 3-run home run, Travis d'Arnaud! And the Braves have seized control in the bottom half of the 7th. Fly ball hit to center off a cutter, hit deep, going back as Acuna at the wall. He's got it on the warning track, 1 step from the fence, and the Braves have grabbed game 1. A 6-run 7th inning, and the Braves, the energy level sky high after the hit batsman of Acuna in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, and they made the Marlins pay dearly. Final score of game 1, Braves 9, Marlins 5.
I don't know why the Marlins decided to hit Acuna, and there seems to be some debate about exactly what was going on there. But from that point forward, it really seemed to wake up the Braves. Acuna led off the game with a home run, as he's done so many times, and then he got plunked in the butt. And they said, "Oh, you know what? It seems like it's kind of accidental," but Braves didn't take it as accidental, and they poured it on after that. So Braves take control of their series. Also, late last night, the Dodgers took control of their series against the Padres. Here is what it sounded like for those of you who were in bed, such as me. I went to bed with the Padres up 1-0, and then this happened.
Turner is struck out and walked twice, and he bounces a base hit into right field. Betts is on his way home, and he'll score. Justin Turner goes the other way, finds the hole on the right side of the infield, and the Dodgers take a 3-1 lead. 2-2 to Jake Cronenworth with 2 out in the 9th. Here's the pitch. Grounded fair up the first base line. Muncie's got it, steps on the bag. The Dodgers win by a score of 5-1. Now it's 3 down and 10 to go.
That is the Dodgers as they get closer to advancing to the NLCS as well. The Yankees are tied up now with the Tampa Bay Rays and the Houston Astros, who are the most reviled team in Major League Baseball, are up 2-0 and maybe advancing to the ALCS themselves. Just when you thought they were going to disappear, they've gotten hot as they move into the postseason and have a possibility of being able to play and continuing back in front of fans if they were able to make it to the World Series. But we will see exactly what happens there. That is the larger context. I also have some breaking news here. I believe that our cardboard cutouts have finally been located, if I'm not mistaken. First of all, Danny G, somebody's found me down the first baseline, we believe, in Chavez Ravine and sent us a picture. And I'm pretty confident that that is me. Are we 100% certain? It appears that one of our listeners managed to find me.
Yeah, so our Outkick listener, Eric, found you and tweeted it out yesterday, which then I tweeted, and that's definitely you. And then Roberto went onto the Dodgers website, and he found a picture of himself. How far away from you are you from Clay, Roberto?
Right next to each other.
Oh, you are? Okay, because we can't see that in Eric's photo. But for some reason, and maybe it's because I'm the one that sent all the threatening emails to everybody in the Dodgers organization, Roberto hasn't tracked my cutout yet.
So wait, you and I are – so am I cut out more than once, or is there an error in play here?
No. You're just once, but in Eric's photo, you can't see who's next to you. I guess Roberto found on the Dodgers website that he is one of the cardboard cutouts next to you.
Right, but I thought we would determine that I was right by the first base line. Are we actually by the flagpole?
We're by the flat.
Yeah,
foul pole.
See, Eric didn't go into detail. He just said first baseline. So Roberto found the actual location on you.
How much time did you spend looking at this photo, Roberto?
Well, not much, because I saw the tweet that the guy had, and he said we were by the first base, and I just went through the website really fast. It didn't take very long.
But so Danny G got left out.
Yeah, Danny G's nowhere to be found.
Nice.
That is pretty ridiculous.
Pretty fitting after all the hours I spent on this.
Yeah, well, so the Dodgers not taking care of us that makes sense. So I'm curious, and I'm going to open up the phone lines for this. The NBA, as we get close, I think Friday probably the final game going to be played, and the Lakers are going to close it out and win in 5 games. Usually I watch the NBA Finals every game, watch it closely. I've had almost no interest in watching the NBA Finals this year, and I think that's because I'm like, well, this is not going to be a very competitive series, and I just totally anticipated that the Lakers would close out the Miami Heat, but also because, to be honest, the NBA has alienated me because it's not even just on the court. I feel like every television commercial that has happened since the NBA got into the bubble has been like, you're an awful human being. Like every single one of them has been just lecturing me all the time. And I'm like, this is the least fun way to spend watching sports that I can ever remember at any point in my life. And the entire thing has just been an infomercial for woke sports. And it's literally everything that I hate about this era that we live in, where it's all just vapid, not intelligent, stupid, left-wing sports shoved down my throat the whole time, whether it's the names on the back of the jersey, whether it's the written on the court, all of the constant, incessant reminders to vote. Like, I find it thoroughly unwatchable. And the vast majority of the American public, it sounds like, is agreeing with me because we have never seen a less watched NBA Finals in our lives. And people out there who are like, well, all sports are down, because that's what like the Mark Cubans of the world would argue. Not really. Major League Baseball is doing fine. The NFL, which looked like it might go down the woke path, has pretty much just gotten back to putting on football, and their numbers are down a little bit, but not massively. The SEC, which is wholly without politics and just puts on college football games, their ratings are up massively. And so you look at this and you say, man, the NBA uniquely is collapsing. So I'm curious for the crew, are you watching less of the NBA than normal? And I'm assuming with you, Danny G, you're such a big Laker fan that you're watching every minute.
Yeah, this is probably not a good topic for you to get California people's take on, because the ratings for the NBA Finals, at least the last ratings update I saw for California at least, the numbers are good. But I can understand the rest of the nation not exactly being so interested in the Heat. And I don't know, if there were other teams playing besides my favorite team, I'm not sure how much more or less I would be watching, but I've been enjoying the NBA Finals.
What about you, Dub? Have you been watching less of the NBA Finals?
Yeah, I guess I probably have. I'm a huge sports fan, obviously, and usually the NBA Finals is something I'm always locked into. But it seems like this series, it's more of like a fourth quarter ordeal for me, which is
for
not
just a gambling purposes almost. Just see what happened. Like there were a lot of.
Speaking of gambling purposes, last night, God bless you if you had
Tyler Hero with
that three, that garbage three.
Yeah, the garbage three covered the spread for Miami Heat bettors. What about you, Eddie? Are you watching? I know usually you're all in on hockey, but are you watching the NBA Finals at all?
Well, let's put it this way. I had a choice between the NHL draft and the NBA Finals last night. I watched the NHL draft, which was not good television.
Would you ordinarily be watching more of the NBA Finals than you are, or is it a conscious decision? How have you ended up watching the NHL draft as opposed to Game 4 of the NBA Finals?
I mean, look, it seems from what I am watching as highlights and reading stories that the Heat are competing and they're a good team, but it just seemed like this wasn't going to be a real competitive final as far as the outcome of the series. I mean, it's already 3-1. It's pretty much over. I mean, does anyone see Miami winning 3 in a row? I would say absolutely
no, it's
not.
over.
Well, yeah. But I was interested in seeing the Clippers-Lakers series. And
if
not
that
just,
actually happened.
And not just because I live in LA, but there was so much contention between people who work here involved in that series. It was going to be, just get your popcorn ready and watch what happens and see the fighting going on, here in our network studios. But that didn't happen. And so it just kind of sucked the life out of any interest I had in the NBA.
What about you, Roberto?
Yeah, definitely watching both. But I got the Dodgers on the big screen and the Lakers on my laptop.
Yeah, so what's interesting to me is almost no one outside of me is pointing out that the NBA has totally mortgaged its fan base. And I don't know whether people are going to come back next year when Adam Silver again has said, hey, we're taking Black Lives Matter off the court. I'm assuming maybe people will start to stand up for the national anthem again. I don't know. And also, they're not going to have social justice warrior slogans on their jerseys. But I'm going to open up the phone lines and allow people to weigh in. Are you watching less? The numbers reflect, again, 70% fewer viewers. If you were a business than the last time LeBron was in the finals, if you were a business and you lost 70% of your audience, all of you would be at that business having an all-hands-on-deck meeting, and most companies that lost 70% of their business would have to file for bankruptcy. I have heard that ESPN, which has a major relationship with ESPN, with the NBA, is close to having to let go hundreds of employees because the NBA has tanked to such an extent in conjunction with the coronavirus overall that even coming back in the bubble hasn't been able to save them at all. Like, they are losing hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars because they're spending billions of dollars on the NBA. And this is when they're supposed to make their money back, is when the NBA finals are going. And that's not happening at all because nobody is tuning in. And I have heard that ESPN, soon after the finals is over, is going to announce hundreds and hundreds of layoffs of their employees. This is what happens. When your business collapses, you have to lay people off. And the NBA players themselves, and probably a lot of NBA teams, they are going to be making a fraction of what they were expecting to make. And I think there are going to be a lot of players looking around and saying, wait a minute, what decisions did LeBron lead us into making here? Why did we decide to get woke with our sport? I signed to make $20 million, and this year I'm actually going to make $8 million. Or I signed to make 10, and now I'm going to be making 4 because the NBA's audience has just abandoned them. And this is what happens, right? The market always decides. And if you allow a tiny segment of your audience to overwhelm your existing business, then the market fires back. And I don't know how unintelligent NBA leadership could be, but the fact that Adam Silver is saying even before the finals are over, basically, we're sorry, we're taking everything out of the game that has tanked it. I don't know if fans are going to come back. I really don't. I think this is a multi-year collapse that the NBA has created, and I think LeBron James's ultimate legacy is going to be he tore down much of the goodwill that Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan created in the league. I mean, guys, more people on average watched a Michael Jordan documentary on ESPN about the 1990 Bulls than have watched any of the big games for the NBA throughout these playoffs. It's truly unprecedented. And by the way, we got an open invite to Mark Cuban to come on the show because he loves to chirp at me on social media. Open invite to him to come on the show and explain why these numbers are not a big deal and try to put on the spin zone to discuss why this collapse doesn't matter in a big way. I just think it does in a monstrous way. We'll discuss this and more, but I'm opening up the phone lines, 877-996-6369. This is Outkick on Fox Sports Radio.